Welcome to this narrated walkthrough of the Claude Opus 4.8 Mission Control Deck. This presentation frames Opus 4.8 as a new standard for fiduciary-grade autonomous AI, a model designed not only to answer prompts, but to coordinate complex, high-stakes work with stronger reasoning, better control, and more reliable execution. The opening claim is that enterprise AI is moving past raw intelligence alone. The new bar is intelligence, scalability, and control working together. A model may score well on benchmarks, but the enterprise question is different. Can it handle long-running work, preserve context, follow policies, manage cost, and produce outputs that teams can trust? The next slide turns that idea into a capability comparison. Claude Opus 4.8 is positioned as a step change across computer and browser use, autonomous engineering, operating system navigation, financial reasoning, and legal accuracy. The key takeaway is not just a single score. It is that the model is being presented as broadly useful across operational domains where mistakes are expensive. The effort control slide is especially important. It shows reasoning depth as a dial rather than a fixed property. Lower effort is for speed and cost control. Default effort is for routine professional work. Extra or high effort is for complex, ambiguous tasks. Max effort is for critical workflows where the value of careful execution outweighs the extra compute cost. That leads directly into dynamic workflows. The deck describes code-based scale execution, where the model can start from a prompt, build a plan, distribute work across many subagents, verify the result, and deliver a final clean merge. In other words, Opus 4.8 is being framed less like a chat model and more like a coordination layer for engineering work. The API and architecture slide explains mid-task instruction routing. Older systems could break prompt caches when system instructions changed. The new architecture allows instructions and context to be routed more flexibly, supporting things like permission updates, token budget changes, and new environment context while the agent is already working. The honesty slide is one of the most important parts of the deck. It highlights a claimed 4 times reduction in unremarked flaws. In practical terms, the model is more likely to flag uncertainty, catch its own mistakes, and push back on unsound plans instead of silently producing a confident but fragile answer. The mission control diagram brings those threads together: effort control, dynamic workflows, and honesty combine into a system for high-stakes autonomous work. The message is that Opus 4.8 is not only more capable, it is designed to be more governable. That matters when organizations are deploying AI into production processes. The industry deployment matrix shows where this matters first: agentic translation and research, content and analysis, unstructured data, and general agent workloads. These use cases all benefit from long context, careful reasoning, and the ability to stay on task across a multi-step workflow. The autonomous software engineering slide grounds the story in developer workflows. The model is positioned around online coding benchmarks, cursor integration, and Devon-style autonomous engineering. The practical point is that software work is not just code generation. It is planning, editing, checking, and integration. The high-stakes knowledge work slide shifts from engineering to professional domains like legal reliability and financial precision. These workflows need the model to reason over long documents, identify risk, cite accurately, and avoid false confidence. The value comes from careful synthesis, not just speed. The economics and pricing matrix then explains how the capability story maps to cost. Standard Opus 4.8 is presented for complex code-based migration, fiduciary-grade legal analysis, and deep reasoning. Fast mode is positioned for high-velocity agentic loops, rapid conversational work, and lower-cost throughput. The Project Glasswing slide points toward the horizon. It suggests that future capability will depend not only on model power, but also on safety prerequisites, deployment status, and security constraints. The lesson is that autonomy has to mature alongside governance. Finally, the availability slide tells the audience where this becomes real: developers through the API and Messages API, engineers through Claude Code, and knowledge workers through Claude.ai and companion tools. The closing message is simple: stop renting intelligence as isolated prompts, and start building it into efficient, governed workflows. So the core takeaway from this deck is that Claude Opus 4.8 is being presented as an enterprise operating layer for AI work. Its value comes from the combination of reasoning depth, workflow coordination, uncertainty handling, long context execution, and deployment options that fit how real teams actually operate.